What's up everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I have an update that I've been meaning to share with you guys, but I've had my hands full with other videos that I really wanted to do, so honestly that's like a pretty good problem to have, so I'm not complaining, but enough about me. That's way too much about me. Let's just
jump into it.
Tim, Philip DeFranco. Emma Blackery is a British YouTuber with 1.4 million subscribers on YouTube.
I did some problematic shit. I apologize for it and everyone's cool, so...
Let's start from the top. I recently interviewed Karim Abridged, allowing him to speak his truth after a large YouTuber called Dodie unintentionally spread misinformation about him, but has since apologized for this. When Dodie made her video about Karim, there were already quite a few YouTubers being called out for sexual misconduct, and the YouTube community didn't exactly know what to do because this was 2014, so it was pretty early on and there wasn't a Me Too movement just yet, so if anything, this was like YouTube's Me Too movement. It was a very tense time, and unfortunately Karim got caught in the crossfire and was improperly grouped with names that were stamped to predatory actions and sexual misconduct. 2014 was also a time when British YouTubers had been blown up and were all known to collaborate with each other and boost each other up, which is honestly great. Collaboration is the key to success.
A great success!
So whenever Karim tried to speak up, he would get flamed by not only fans, but also creators. And the dangerous thing about making allegations against someone is when an allegation turns into a snowball effect and it becomes worse than anybody ever said. You know, he was being called things such as rapist and pedophile, which he was never ever accused of either of those things. Now, if you're a subscriber of mine, you'll probably notice that one of the themes of my channel has been, and will continue to be, accountability. Simply stated, I would like people to be held responsible for their actions. Sounds reasonable, right?
Wrong.
Apparently, accountability is a foreign concept to some people. Commenters will often say stuff like, why do you care so much? Well, excuse me for having some empathy. And of course, there's the other comment of, oh, this happened so long ago, why are you bringing it up? Let me think of a way that I can explain this for the kids sitting in the back. So imagine if someone damaged your reputation, maybe not online, maybe at your workplace, right? To the point that you needed to quit your job because it was also affecting you mentally. Now, if it continues to affect you mentally and you can't go back to your job years later, just because it happened years ago, it doesn't mean that it's still not affecting you. Like, is this a really tough concept for some people to understand? You know, and if those people that hurt you still don't want to acknowledge it, we should just give those people a pass just because time passed? What kind of logic is that, kid? Check yourself. Anyways, it's one thing for a stranger to comment on a video, right? But when an influencer with hundreds of thousands of subscribers, like Edwin that insists that Karim is a rapist and a pedophile without any proper proof, damn, that is irresponsible. But today's video is not about Edwin. I already made one on him, and despite how problematic he may be, today's not his lucky day. It's about Emma. Now, to my knowledge, Emma never called Karim a or a pedophile. However, she did contribute to tweeting lots of disparaging things that contributed to canceling Karim. After I did my video on Edwin mislabeling Karim and gaslighting me to try to divert attention away from his own sexual allegations, I decided to call out some other influencers involved in trying to ruin Karim's reputation on Twitter. So my tweet read, on a serious note, shame on Edwin, Luke, Emma, Bri, and others who refuse to acknowledge their past dangerous groupthink mentality and contribution to destroy someone. Sincerely hope you all grow and know your past actions affect others in the present. Ooh, snappy Edwin. Jeez.
The tea is seriously hot.
But there are some good news that I'm actually ecstatic to share with you guys. Luke Cutforth, who was actually once Karim's best friend, has apologized to Karim, saying that he's sorry for being a bad friend and that he wishes he would have heard him out. And that is so commendable. You know, I'm just so happy about that. This is the mission accomplished feeling that I'm so happy to boast about. You know what I mean? I don't care. I'll shamelessly say that I'm so happy when I see comments from you guys saying that I helped you achieve a new perspective that you didn't quite consider until you saw a certain video of mine, you know? But when I see that someone involved in the story that I'm covering also changed their mind because of me, like I helped them like realize something new, that means so much. And I'm so incredibly proud of both Dodie Clark and Luke Cutforth for being able to see that yeah, you know, their actions had a bigger effect than they probably intended to, and they've been able to grow from that, and that just that feels good, you know, and I'm just proud of them. Now I wish I could say the same thing for Emma Blackery, who actually dated Luke. What do you know? Emma used to be quite outspoken on Twitter, and I'm not sure if she regrets this or why she decided to delete over 9,000 tweets on her Twitter in January of last year. Literally over 9,000 tweets.
It's over 9,000!
And among those deleted tweets were the ones she made against Karim. However, we can thank Edwin for archiving them on his Karim master post. Emma said, shame about the screenshots, you gross piece of shit. You lied to us. You lied about hanging out with Jason. So in my previous video, I showed part of the interview with Karim where he explained that he was suggested by Luke, Who was at Emma's house when Luke suggested to Karim that, you know, if he thinks it's a good idea to go see Jason because Jason was suicidal at the time, then he should do it, but he should probably lie to the internet about it because otherwise he would be grouped with Jason's allegations. And what do you know? That ended up happening. Emma went on to say, I spent so long staying silent because I don't know how to react. Now I'm just ashamed at what a bad judge of character I've clearly been. 1111, friends who don't fucking abuse people, please. Fucking done with the cunts I used to call my friends. Fuck V1I, fuck Karim abridged. Fuck you for the pain you've caused people. So we can clearly see that Emma was going along with a sensational narrative against Karim based off of what we've now proven to be false and hyperbolic accusations. Now, reacting so emotionally isn't the worst thing in the world. I've seen some people react pretty intensely at the genie from the upcoming Aladdin movie, which, you know, it could turn out to be even better than the original. You never know. My point is that social media enables us to react, you know, to kind of put your thoughts out there, especially with the validation of thousands of people. Within 7 hours, she gets so many likes and retweets, you know, so why would she feel the need to change your mind, especially when there's absolutely no other perspective? Like, nobody was willing to hear Karim out. Nobody even cared to hear him out. And that is just a problem, you know. People like Evan and Emma prefer to look the other way instead of engaging with the possibility that perhaps they could stand corrected, perhaps they made a mistake, perhaps they were wrong. You know, they'd rather just insist on their bias against this person they don't like. They'd rather just continue their entire life believing that despite there being facts and evidence against their beliefs, they're like, you know what? I'd rather believe he's a shit person. And her reply definitely confirmed that, and it made me not regret my little call out sassy Edwin tweet. About 4 days after I made my tweet, Emma decided to reply, and about 20 minutes later, she decided to delete that reply. But I saw her tweet, and I sent her one back. Good morning. I saw your deleted reply and also the tweets I was referring to when I said you contributed to destroying someone based on false accusations. I didn't say you were friends, but since you deleted the tweet, maybe you misinterpreted mine. I know you're probably wondering, well, what did her tweet say? And I was actually stupid enough to refresh the page before getting a screenshot. However, the kid that does the little floss dance got a screenshot for me, so shout out to you being the prince of receipts. He was never my friend. He was a waster who sat around in the big house doing fuck all every day. We never really spoke. I didn't live there or make a video with him or even associate myself closely with him, so fuck you with your loaded false accusations. Damn, in a loaded tweet, there's just so much to unpack. First off, did I say they were friends in my tweet? Because I don't see it. If we pull up Emma's very own tweet from 2014, it is her that's saying that she used to call Karim her friend. So it's very confusing that she's accusing me of accusing her of being friends with him when I never said that in my tweet. So is she in a way accusing herself of making a false accusation against herself? What a confusing and weird way to start a tweet. So again, I was shaming her for her loaded tweets against Karim and trying to ruin his reputation back in 2014. And what does she do? She says F you to me for calling her out on that and doubles down and makes another tweet continuing to try to tarnish his reputation yet again. Classy. Oh, and by the way, Emma blocked me. And first of all, I just want to say sorry that you guys have to see such a sassy Edwin in this video, but I find it to be so pathetic for someone to actively participate in that groupthink mentality, right? Where they want to dissociate their own individual responsibility for their actions, the cancel culture, and to not only to just participate in it, but to be a leader. Like, she had hundreds of thousands of followers following her every word. You know, this was her prime on YouTube. Because frankly, she may have 1.4 million subscribers on her YouTube, but it looks like some of her videos are struggling to even break the 20,000 view mark. She's no longer in her prime, and she'd rather delete her tweet against me and block me instead of take responsibility for her actions. Anyway, so I text Karim and I told him what she had said, and honestly, his responses what kind of made me want to make this video, so let me just read it to you. He says, ouch, I guess that explains a lot. Also, she really put me on blast by saying I did f*** all. When if she had even asked about how I was, she would know that I got kicked out of my house, lost contact with my family, which were the only people that I had in my life consistently because I went through most of my life without friends, so it literally flipped my whole world upside down and I didn't know how to deal with the feelings I felt. Now I just feel like people really thought I was just lazy, when things just got to me and I struggled to deal with them back then. Also, the fact that we weren't friends, but she still went on a rampage to try to destroy my YouTube career and acted like we were friends by saying that I betrayed her or something? I don't know. And I say, your story has more layers than Shrek's onions. And he says, legit, I don't like peeling back those layers because they were tough times. Like, I just feel like I went through one hardship after another and never really had any time to like just chill, you know? That's why I ended up doing nothing or just hung out with friends and did things to distract myself. I told told Karim that I was considering doing a video on this because I just felt so much secondhand rage, and I told him that I could use his text, and he said, I don't really mind what you do, it's just disheartening when I see them publicly say shit, you know? Like Emma saying we weren't friends at all, etc. When I consider her a friend, I never asked to be in her videos or her online presence or whatever, but when I knew she was going through some things, I felt for her and wanted to be there for her, and would always back her up with things, just trying to be a good friend. So like finding out how that she didn't consider me a friend, even before the fact, opened my eyes to a lot of things. Like I deadass suspected that no one wanted me around and stuff, and now it's confirmed. I just don't understand why. Like I was nothing but good to the people surrounding me, and I always put others before me. And at the time I was like, fudge dude, damn, this is just so intense. I need to go back to London and finish your story here. And he said, haha, it's all good now, I'm used to that stuff by now, people don't always have the best intentions with you, and through this I've kind of learned how to read people better, so it's a positive thing. If there could be any takeaway from this video, and honestly this story as a whole, then I hope that it could be to inspire others to be less dismissive of your friends, whether they be a close friend or not. You know, it's so important to communicate before you make such harsh judgment calls. It was honestly just so gross to me to see her call him a waster, and especially because Emma, this is Emma we're talking about, you know, the girl that participated in cancel culture. This is the type of people that are usually like the social justice type, right? And she's here being so inconsiderate of someone's feelings. It's just, please, don't be like Emma. When you're literally describing someone's symptoms of depression, maybe ask them what's going on instead of just putting them on blast. Jeez, now I'm being all cheesy, like moral of the story kind of thing. Sorry about that, but if you enjoyed the video, do give me a thumbs up, and I'm sorry that my Azealia Banks and Grimes Elon Musk follow-up is taking so long. Guys, I promise there is so much tea. This is gonna be such an epic video, okay? So make sure you have your popcorn ready. That'll be coming up soon. It's gonna be a long video, so make sure you subscribe with notifications because I like to do live shows about a day or so after I post my videos, and I don't keep them on the channel. I put them on my Patreon though, so if you're subscribed to my Patreon, make sure you keep an eye out for those. Alright guys, that's it. Cheerios.